My name is Charlie, and I am a recovering financial independence retire early addict. I truly thought it's what I wanted to save enough money that I would never have to work again unless I wanted to be free. That's what FIRE, the Financial Independence Retire Early movement, promises, with its shiny poster people living shiny lives to prove it's possible. I was hooked within moments of discovering FIRE, worked out what I could do to get there. Working 60 to 70 hours a week in my wine store and bar for over 7 years was really taking its toll. I was exhausted and I wanted a way out. I wanted freedom. Fire seemed like a really good solution. I was part of the movement for around 7 years. Now I'm not. There are plenty of critics of fire. People say the math isn't right, the money will run out. They say you can't possibly know how much money you need to live as you age. They say you'll be bored with all your free time. But what I see discussed a lot less is the question, does FIRE, or indeed any personal finance strategy, align with your values? Because the main reason I am no longer a FIRE advocate, aside from the fact that it was an impossible financial goal for me anyway, is that the modern iteration does not fit my personal values nor work hard enough to create a world I want to inhabit. Principally, I no longer gel with FIRE. And whether your principles align with your financial strategies, be they your pension, savings, investments, or even the way you spend your money, is something that we all need to talk more about. I say the modern iteration of FIRE here because, interestingly, old school FIRE is a different beast. People attribute the movement to Your Money or Your Life book by Vicky Robin and the late Joe Dominguez. This book advocates living a less consumerist lifestyle, which requires less money to maintain, thus freeing yourself to do more good in the world. What it doesn't encourage is what many people consider a stereotypical FIRE lifestyle. A well-paid, white-collar worker retiring at 30 to sit on a beach for the rest of their life. Your Money or Your Life was my gateway to FIRE and encompassed the way I wanted to approach it. Consume less, use that extra money to help other people and the planet. It sounded right up my street. I still love many of Vicky Robin's original philosophies, but as tends to happen, the movement has been co-opted. The deeper you dive, the more you find people who lean towards that common perception of FIRE, the privileged 30-something retiring after a few years in a well-paid company. People who will do anything they can to get there, investing in whatever makes them the most money, principles be damned. Vicky has said this herself, suggesting there are two subcultures of FIRE, which she defines as libertarians and social democrats. And I'm quoting Vicky here. Libertarians believe in personal responsibility and freedom. Social democrats believe in society's responsibility to its members to create fairness and cohesion. By this definition, I am a social democrat, and the libertarian co-option of FIRE does not sit so well with me. I want my money to work in a way I feel comfortable with. We talk all the time about how to make it monetarily, how to invest, how to gain personal wealth. What we talk about less is how we make and invest that money and whether those methods really do align with our values. FIRE is a perfect example of this for me. Take a big FIRE principle using index funds as your main investment vehicle. Index funds bundle up stocks from multiple companies, removing the need to pick individual stocks. This means people who invest in index funds will often have their money invested in big stock market names like every tech, retail, or medical giant you can think of. But what if you have issues with these companies? What if you believe they're bad for their workers, for society, or for you? What if they are not part of the world that you want to inhabit? Does that not count for something? I think it does. And this is something I've thought about more and more as the years have gone on, partly because it feels like big name, public traded companies are getting even more extreme in the way they operate. Yes, stock market giants have always been there, and many of them have been under ethical scrutiny. But now we have tech companies keeping us addicted to our phones. We have retail companies with notoriously terrible working conditions. And who can forget the car company whose leader had a stiff right arm, who was in bed with the US government until very recently? If you don't feel comfortable with some of the companies your money funds, you should be able to take that comfort into account and act accordingly, even if that's not what we're taught. I've read scores of personal finance books, articles, listened to many more podcasts to figure out this problem. How can I feel more comfortable with my personal finance strategy? Some of them talk about using socially responsible index funds or SRIs, which do not include companies in ethically sketchy industries like gambling, pornography, weapons, tobacco, fossil fuels, or even companies with less than stellar environmental practices. SROs have their critics, partly because some people think they don't go far enough. More concerning is the criticism that we shouldn't concern ourselves with ethical investing when there's more money to be made elsewhere. So much financial advice aligns with the don't worry about it too much, just make money where you can, more than do you feel comfortable with the way you are making and investing your cash. Some say it's impossible to be completely ethical. You could, for instance, stop buying from or investing in Amazon because you disagree with their practices. But who's to say the company you replace them with is significantly better? But I don't want to throw my hands up in the air and say, if I can't win, I won't try. As they say, don't let perfection be the enemy of good. That goes for financial strategies as much as it does for anything else. Some say FIRE doesn't work because you don't know what the future can hold and you can't account for all eventualities. But what happens when the thing that changes isn't so much your financial situation, but you? I'm aware how privileged I am to have investments in the first place. Not everyone does. I believe that this privilege makes it even more important to save, invest, and do good for the world, not just good for me. This isn't about giving financial advice. This isn't even saying FIRE is bad. Like I say, the movement is based on some really great principles. No, this is saying that you should at least try to align your personal finances with your personal values, however that looks like to you. So yeah, I'm a recovering FIRE addict and I feel all the better for it.